and begin. Maybe some others will be joining us as we go through. Thank you for joining in the session called Does Quality Matter? And as I look at our list of participants, I see that all of you in that group I know would answer that question as yes. Um, when the community of practice reached out to me about doing a session, they wanted me to do a session that was sort of an update overview of the college's Quality Matters initiative, particularly for instructors who may be unfamiliar to some extent with what we're doing with Quality Matters, or even maybe don't even know what Quality Matters is. But as I'm looking at this list, um, I think all of you have been exposed to some extent. Gosh, that's a terrible way to say that. But all of you are aware, I know, of what Quality Matters is. So I'm going to move ahead with that in mind, but stop me at any point, and I want you to participate. We're a small enough group right now that I really want to get some feedback as we move ahead with what we're doing with Quality Matters. I see Wes is joining us as well. Okay. Thank you for sharing this information. I definitely have here a group of instructors who are, oh, wow. Just saw what Lloyd popped up. As I was saying, that was very timely. We definitely have a group of instructors here who certainly are teaching online, and in many cases, whew, lots of courses online. So here's what I want to hear, and I suspect if you're looking at this slide, this is my pre-assessment where I wanted to know what level of understanding I have in this group of participants. And as you can see, I had two different directions here that if you know, or what do you know about Quality Matters at this point, if you'll unmute yourself and kind of share that with the group. If any of you are not at all familiar with Quality Matters, I just wanted you to let me know that in the chat box. But I know most of you have some familiarity. So let's just have you talk with me. So unmute yourselves, and let's talk about what you do know about Quality Matters and where you are in the process right now. Okay. I'm going to start by calling on Dr. Jamie Schmidt because I know full well he knows a lot about Quality Matters and can share probably more with you than I could. Jamie, you want to talk about that a little bit? Are you there, Jamie? Okay.
Oh, here we go. Okay, sorry about that. I couldn't get my microphone to work for some reason. It was just things are so screwy with IT this morning. But anyway, yes, I have been working for about a year now on Quality Matters as both a peer reviewer and having taken both classes, and then having a class course of my music appreciation course actually certified last December, was it? I think it was. I think it's been,
Yes, it was
yeah,
December. Yes,
it was
about a year
December.
ago.
Yeah, and so I first learned about the program maybe a few years ago when Anthony James had mentioned that it was kind of a thing that people were mulling around, and I didn't really have a lot of um, access to it or understanding of it. But it wasn't until I took Becky's online instructors academy that it started to become much more clear, what had to happen. And it's the only one of the reasons why I wanted to come here, is just to provide maybe some information as having gone through it and not necessarily tell the full
Thank you.
story. But I just wanted to say before, anyone begins with this session, is that it's definitely worth learning some of the concepts, even if you don't necessarily want to submit a course for certification. The concepts in there will definitely make your online course a lot better as far as the organization and just the things that from a student perspective, what they will see based upon your efforts to implement some of the what do they call those things, Becky? The I
The
forgot
review
already.
standards.
The
The
review
review
standards. That's
standards.
right. Yeah, that's right. So
You
even
try to
even
get that out of your mind.
I know. I don't. I thought I would never forget, but yeah. So I'm just here. I'm just here to answer any questions about the process, and I'll kind of let Becky, take the helm again, and I'm here just to
Okay.
support.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Anybody else want to chime in about kind of where you feel you are right now with your level of understanding of quality matters and what the initiative entails here at Coastal? Oh, okay. Was that somebody speaking? Oh, we have an IT issue. Okay. All right. Anybody else going to chime in, or I'll move on?
I
Oh,
think
okay.
I'm at the very beginning of the Quality Matters process. I thought I was a lot further along until I sat in on Jamie's presentation last semester, and then I realized I better learn more before I thought that way. But I've just started for the first time to build a course from the ground up. I unfortunately had to switch textbooks in one of my class, so for the first time I'm building a
Uh-huh.
course from the ground up using the Quality Matters rubrics, and
Okay,
it's
good.
really been pretty amazing so far in how much easier it makes it to build a course in a logical manner.
Thank you for saying that. It is so very true. What course is that you're building from ground up, Loy?
It's LEX 260 bankruptcy law, bankruptcy and collections.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Okay. Um, Anybody else? And then I will give a little background because some of you, I think, as Jamie may have mentioned, have kind of been through certain aspects of our Quality Matters initiative, but may really not have the full background of how it started and where we are. Okay, let's move on then. A little history, and I'll try to make this a brief history to kind of bring you up to where we are today. Um, and I'm actually going to go back a little bit prior to 2016, 17. Um, Back in 2014, it actually was now. Wow. Um, the camp here on campus, we developed a distance learning quality council, and some of you are aware of that. You sit on that council. I know Barbara and Lloyd do, and there may be others of you who have joined who are. But that, Richard, I see now you've joined us. That council originally started um, in response to our looking at some of our student success data here at Coastal, and seeing that in the online environment, our students didn't seem to be succeeding as well as in the seated environment, which really was no surprise. But it started there, and one of the first initiatives out of that Distance Learning Council, of course, was looking at Blackboard itself and developing the Blackboard template that you are all familiar with. And secondly, out of that came the Online Instructors Academy. Now it's called the Academy for Online Instructors, and it has evolved through several different iterations over the years, with a focus now on quality matters. It was out of that Distance Learning Council that we learned about the Quality Matters Consortium and specifically about the rubric that Jamie referenced. Um, at that point, I think, frankly, across the state, it was a fairly new initiative. But about 2015, we got information from the state community college system, um, and that they had joined the Quality Matters Consortium and were providing the opportunity for individual colleges to join as an affiliate member. Now, basically, what that means in simple terms, as far as we're concerned, is they pay the bulk of the subscription to Quality Matters Consortium, we pay a minimal subscription fee each year as an affiliate member. Uh, we were among some of the early colleges that joined back in, actually, I think we signed our first contract in January of 17. But that has grown probably as a result of the COVID shutdown. I began to see lots more colleges joining, and there was a greater push from the community college system toward Quality Matters in 2020 and in the ensuing years. So now the majority of the colleges in the state of North Carolina are affiliate members of the consortium. What it is, of course, and you see that on the screen here, is actually an international or global nonprofit organization. Actually started out of, I think it was University of Maryland back in 2012-13. It was a grant funded. With a focus on quality assurance for online or digital education, clearly the ultimate goal, as is everything we do here at the college, is to improve student learning. And again, you heard Jamie say that whether you actually have a course certified or not, implementing Quality Matters standards in your course, and again, thank you, Loy, for saying that about building a course with those review standards in mind, ultimately is for the benefit of the students. And that's what we're looking toward. So that's just a little background on how we came to where we are now. I'll take you a little bit through what happened. We joined the membership. We've done awareness sessions, and as you clearly have learned, we've got trained peer reviewers here on campus, and we've had 3 courses go through, but I'll touch upon that a little bit more in just a minute. I see Susan's joined us. Thank you. But let's talk about what quality means just a little bit. When you hear the term quality, now of course we're talking about quality in education, but we use that term to describe many other things. And basically, and this again is from Quality Matters, it means that you're building something, or you're dealing with something that's more than just average or acceptable. It's better than good enough. Now, I don't know that anybody wants to sit back and say, well, my class is good enough, my course is good enough. I have never heard an instructor say that. But when we talk about a Quality Matters course, or a course that implements these standards, we are talking about one that goes beyond acceptable and average. I know from working with Quality Matters, and Jamie certainly is aware of this as one who has gone through the review process, that generally 85% is considered quality. Having worked in the public school system for many years, that was sort of the benchmark for measuring almost anything in the public school system, measuring student success in the schools, measuring what we did with instructors or teachers. That 85% level is considered typically the quality point. Um, some of us might think it should be higher than that, but that is what Quality Matters considers that too, and you'll see what I mean. Quality too is something that's research-based in best practices. In other words, how do we know what makes something quality? How do I know if I pulled up 3 different online courses here on campus? How would I know which one would be defined as quality? That's a question I've actually been asked before. Anytime you're determining quality or success, you're doing so against a rubric, as you do as instructors in your classes with your students. In this case, the rubric that we're using when we look at online courses is the Quality Matters rubric, which is based on research supported best practices, those things that research studies and actually evaluation of courses by students show to be most associated with student success. Of a final comment though about the quality, and again, this is an important one for any instructor who's looking toward um, either building a course as Loy says he is, or those of you who may be interested in just going into and doing some self-assessment of a course. It's based on progress in building quality, not perfection. There's no such thing as a perfect course. Now, we might have courses that are reviewed and ultimately get that 100% point level. But we all know that there's always room for more work and more progress. So I would never want instructors here to think that as we start talking about quality matters, we want everything to be perfect. That doesn't exist. But I'm sure that there are courses that can be improved, can be built upon, and progress made. And that in effect is what quality matters means when they talk about taking a course through review or doing a self-review by using that rubric. Let me step back a minute though. I want to make a point about something because this takes us back to the Distance Learning Council. We have for many years, and I know those of you on the council can verify this, we've for many years talked about how do we reach quality in our online instruction here at Coastal, and that again is, as I said earlier, that's an issue being dealt with across the state, especially in light of the last 2 years. We know there are lots of factors that affect student success in the online environment. And you see some of those listed here on this particular slide. And one of the ones that we talk about quite a bit in our council, and I know faculty talk about this, is are students ready for online? And I know that there's some work that needs to be done in ensuring that when students do register and take an online course, that they're ready, that we've prepared them for that. Same way with faculty. I want to say that we are trying to address that issue right here with faculty readiness, with the academies, with the professional development opportunities, with the work that Robin does. So that is something that's being addressed and has been for a while. The LMS, of course, is part of it. And by that, I simply mean whatever LMS we're using, in our case, Blackboard, of course, is one that, again, faculty and students both are comfortable with using, and that it allows the features that we need in those courses. Now, Quality Matters, though, is compatible with all LMSs. Ours just happens to be the Blackboard. Course delivery is actually teaching. Um, that's what you would consider actually instructing when you're in the classroom. It's when you're there with your students and you're presenting the information. You'll notice that these two items, as I've moved around, the course content itself and the design of your course are highlighted differently, and that's because that's actually what Quality Matters focuses on. Quality Matters and the use of that rubric address the design of an online course. It's those things that happen when you're building the course and the content that you choose to place in that course. These two are really what are assessed or reviewed and are really a part of what we're talking about with Quality Matters. It's not that these aren't important, they certainly are. And the way that Quality Matters states it is this: the implementation of that rubric and what we do with those review standards are here. Once a course is reviewed, if it's reviewed, and again, it doesn't have to be, then it's up to the individual instructor, faculty, to manage the delivery of the course. We don't really, Quality Matters doesn't really address what you do after that. It's what's here. And I can't emphasize that enough because we all know, of course, a solid course has to be built, but then all of these things have to be in place too. So we're talking about how you build that course. Um, as members of the Quality Matters Consortium, there are three different benefits, if you will. There are three components um, as a part of the Quality Matters framework. One of them, of course, is the professional development that is available as members and things that are available on the Quality Matters website for all faculty, because you are a faculty here at the college and we do have that membership. The second part, of course, is the rubric itself. And if you haven't seen it in its entirety, I'm going to talk you through how to get to that and show you that. It can be, and I want to emphasize this, when you, Jamie has mentioned it, when you first look at the entire rubric, it can be overwhelming. Is that not true, Jamie? I mean, it can really, you look at those 42 specific review standards and it can be very, yes, it can be overwhelming. But it doesn't have to be, because one of the first things, and we continue to say this, is that rubric can be used just by an individual instructor for a self-assessment. That's what we mean when we say it's used in an ad hoc fashion. That's just in here, in-house at Coastal by individual instructors who choose to use it. It can be used in formal ways. Obviously, it can go all the way to a Quality Matters managed course review, as Jamie did. Or it can be incorporated into the institution process and tools, which is what we've done. Here at Coastal, we have begun, as I said earlier, we've done awareness sessions. We've gradually begun to incorporate the standards into the Academy for Online Instructors, and I change that just a little bit almost every semester, with a continued focus on those standards, most especially on the essential standards of the 42. And then, of course, the third component of the framework are the reviews themselves. And I think that's the piece that we've probably done least have, even though we've had some reviews done. We've not moved forward as much with that, but we're going to offer it, and I will share more about that. One of the first things I remember coming out of the Distance Learning Council was a recommendation from several of our members, actually, that we not move forward to official reviews as if it's required. Well, it's not required. I do not see that it will ever be required. But we do think that the review process as an in-house process, specifically as a self-assessment for individual faculty, and what we're moving forward now is towards some peer assistance and peer review. We're colleagues together, so we are going to be using some reviews, but again, not necessarily in the Quality Matters formal fashion. All right, questions at this point? Any comments? I hate this kind of talking to a screen. Question or comment at this point? Okay, I hope everybody's still with me here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you to answer me. Go to your chat box and let me know, just with yes or no, have you set up your MyQM account in Quality Matters? How many of you have? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. Just type in yes or no. Okay. Okay, Kristen, she's already jumped to it. Okay. How about the rest of you? I know there are more there. Have you done it yet? Okay. And that's fine if you haven't, because it probably has not actually, other than perhaps in the academy, you may not have heard how to do that. We do talk about that in the academy. Anybody else? All right, okay, that is the starting point. Um, for individual faculty, because again, you are a faculty member here at Coastal, you have access to the material on the Quality Matters website. And that is really the central hub for everything. That's where I go in for information. That's where we go in for reviews. That's where we go in to register for professional development. And then there are free resources, and I want to point those out to you because there's some really great material there. Um, if you haven't done so, for those of you who indicated no, you simply go to that website. You'll sign in using your Coastal email. Uh, it must be your Coastal email. And then you create your own unique password. And from that point on, you can save it and immediately go into Quality Matters, um, into your MyQM account. And that gives you access to a number of things, some of which you may not need at this point, but it's certainly a great starting point. Most importantly, though, if you'll look here at the list, because this is the starting, the rubric itself, the rubric that we keep talking about with those review standards, you have access to by creating your account. You go through the sample reviewer worksheet is one of the tools that you'll see it, or you can actually go into my course reviews and start a self review and it pulls it up for you. I have also included here, and at the end I'll pull it up for you, another document that will give you all of those things, and I can actually send that to you as well. Another resource that you'll find on the website in the reference library, which is over on the left menu, is the QM success stories. These are monthly stories. They're about an hour long. You can download. Um, it's exactly what it says. It's actually narratives or anecdotes, if you will, of successful implementation of Quality Matters. You can also find some of the research. I kept talking about the research base. That's all in the research library. And then I think this last one is a really great resource. I have joined, I don't know if other faculty on campus have done that yet, but we all know that we keep talking about accessibility and making all of our online courses accessible and usable. That is an initiative that's a part of Quality Matters, but outside Quality Matters, we know that's an issue that's ongoing with the work of our accessibility committee. This is a new resource, or fairly new resource on the Quality Matters site. It is free. This is one that you don't have to pay a fee for. You can just sign up for that course. It is structured as a course, but you sign up for that one and it addresses all of the things we know about ensuring that the content in your online courses is accessible with directions as to how to do that. Now, I know that we already have some resources here on campus, and I think that's great, but I really want to point that one out because there's some good things there in that particular one. Now, as far as the other professional development, when you go into the website, you're going to see all kinds of courses that are available. They come with a fee. We did, during the shutdown, wow, actually, it was 2020. I keep forgetting last year happened at all. We did take faculty, selected faculty within each division through peer reviewer training. There were a couple of courses that they had to take as a part of that, and the campus paid for those courses. There are other things that occasionally pop up through the professional development site as well. I think the most important thing, though, you'll find on the website once you start getting into that is the rubric itself with all of its annotations. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit. All right, here we go. It is annotated, and by that I mean this rubric not only lists the 8 general standards and the 42 specific review standards that fall under those 8, um, but it gives you multiple options and multiple ways that you can incorporate those standards in your course. And you may already be doing that. And I'm sure that looking at this list of participants, I know you are. But it's a very detailed annotation in that rubric. One of the things that's emphasized, though, by Quality Matters is that if you meet the standards, if you work toward meeting all of these standards in your course, it doesn't equal standardization. Anybody know what I mean by that? Pipe up if you know what I mean by that.
I think it means
For
that you can meet the quality level without necessarily having to teach the class the same way as someone else.
exactly, exactly. And the truth is, um, it's not going to be. Jamie's, yours is a good example. I mean, you know, your music appreciation course is a Quality Matters certified course, and we could work toward making that a master course that's used by other faculty members within your division. But as you said, it doesn't mean it's going to be the same, even if they're using the bulk of that course, because every individual instructor brings himself or herself into the course. We all know that. There's a certain amount of personalization that comes in to a course. Um, I think it also means that across campus, if we have instructors working to meet all of those standards, it doesn't make them cookie cutter. That's a phrase, if you know what I mean by that. That's a phrase that I used to hear quite a bit some time ago. Ooh, some time ago, when we were working in the school system on implementing a set of standards for evaluating teachers. And for a couple of years there, we kind of fought this false perception that if we expected teachers to implement certain practices, they were going to be cookie cutter. I heard that phrase all the time, cookie cutter, that we're all going to be the same. Well, no, that's not true. You know, you can be an excellent teacher by implementing best practices, whether it's in the classroom or, as in this case, whether it's online, um, but not all be the same. You're never going to be all the same, and that's what that means. Um, and then again, I think I mentioned this earlier. One of the things about the rubric and those 42 practices is technology and LMS, any LMS compatible, agnostic, I guess is the best word there. Um, it it's going to work. In our case right now, we're with Blackboard, but it's going to work with that. And as far as the technology, other technology that's used in a course, it's all compatible with Quality Matters standards. As a matter of fact, that is one of the standards is incorporating, as you will see here. Now, Jamie, you can just close your eyes and take a little rest. No, I'm just kidding. Um, this in itself can be overwhelming when you first look at that whole list of general standards. These are called the general standards, the 8 broad areas. Um, I want to make a few comments about these. I know from looking at my list of participants here that all of you instructors who are listening to this, you know what these things are because many of you have been in I think all of you have been in the academy of some sort. And so the terminology really is not new to you. What you may not be completely familiar with are the 42 specific standards, as Loy said. Once you really start delving into it, you see just how much there is there. Each of these are broken down into specific review standards. some of which carry a 3-point value, they're called essential, some of which carry a 2-point value, which is very important, and then a 1-point value, which is important. Now, you'll see once you really get into that why they would carry the different point values. Some of them, particularly the 3-pointers, I call them, the essential ones, must be present in a course that is ever going to be considered for review, an official review. Because of course they do carry more weight. They have greater impact on student success. So that's why there's varying rates. I'll talk just a little more about that when we talk about review process. But one of the other comments that I want to make here is Quality Matters is also built on a concept of alignment. It is a key factor in not only a review of a course, but certainly just building a course, again, if you're using these. And it focuses on starting with this, the learning objectives in a course, being aligned with the assessments used in the course, the materials in the course, the activities that you build into the course, and then the technology that you may also include. So these standards, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all are related to each other in terms of ensuring that they all align with each other. Now, when you stop and think about it, you're all experienced educators. So when you stop and think about it, that's not really a novel idea. There's nothing really novel about the idea that we should be aligning all of these things. In other words, we should be teaching toward our ultimate objectives and measuring accomplishment of those objectives. That's not a new idea. But the standards themselves specifically point that out. Those specific review standards particularly look for that alignment for those pieces. One of the tools that Quality Matters encourages but does not require is the use of a course map to ensure as you're building a course that you are in fact aligning each of those components that I just said. And that's something that we'll be talking more about in some of the upcoming professional development that we have. I do want to point out that standard number 7, the Distance Learning Council and a subcommittee of that council have worked toward, Loy and Barbara have both been on that subcommittee. This particular standard looks at ensuring that we provide for students access to all the various technical, academic, and student services resources. We've done that, by the way. Who can tell me how we've done that? Let's see if you've been paying attention. How have we addressed that very specifically in our online courses? Think Blackboard. Okay, Loy, why don't you share? Because I know you've had a big part to do with this. Are you there, Loy?
Yes, I'm sorry. I typed it in the chat box. The student
Oh, I see
support
it.
resources or student support services tabs that we put together.
Yeah, oh yeah, I see it. It popped up there. Yeah, everything is now in Blackboard. I hope that all of you have seen that. We rolled that out in the fall, just recently. So now that's not to say that's the only way. Obviously, within your individual course, you also want to reference those and make sure that it's clearly evident to students. But I do think that the work that's done by the Distance Learning Council subcommittee has addressed that standard. Because, and we'll continue to add to it as we add resources, but that one's well underway for everybody. Standard 8, of course, is also underway. That, as I said before, outside the whole Quality Matters initiative for some time now. We've had an accessibility committee here on campus, and Ally, of course, has been built into Blackboard to assist instructors with ensuring accessibility. So that from a number of different directions, Standard 8 is being addressed. So I feel fairly confident for instructors who are moving toward incorporating quality matters. It, it's going to be these first standards here, ensuring those components are in place. Let's talk about reviews. We've not done a lot of discussion campus-wide about this, and this is something I really want to get into the individual divisions to make sure within all of our divisions, faculty are aware of first of all, the fact that no one will be required to do a review of a course until that person, if at some point that person feels they're ready for one. There are two types of reviews. Obviously, they're internal reviews. That means within the campus itself. Number one, self-review. I mentioned that earlier. There is a self-review tool in your MyQM account. And once you've created that account, if you go in and pull that up yourself, you can begin a review of a particular course, whatever that course may be, and start reviewing in that way. I do think we have a few faculty on campus who started that process back before the shutdown, actually. I don't know that they've had a chance to do much since then. The other type of internal review is what we're calling, or what we refer to as, our peer collaboration. It's a multi-member collaborative review, and that's just a fancy way of saying that within division or across divisions, faculty can work together to review courses. Again, it's all completely informal. There's no evaluation. There's no judgment. We do have peer reviewers. As you've heard me say, I'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second, but we do have trained peer reviewers who can assist with that, and I actually will be calling upon them to help with our newest academy in that respect. But it doesn't have to mean even that it is one of our trained reviewers to work collaboratively in a review within divisions, or faculty who are colleagues and they're willing to sit together and look at each other's courses, because that is a part of quality matters. The other type of review, of course, is the official review, and that's the one that can lead to the certification of a course. That is, it earns the Quality Matters certification mark, which is placed on a course. It's on Jamie's now, for example. There are two types of those. One of them is subscriber managed. What that means is it's managed in-house outside QM itself, but here at Coastal, we would facilitate a subscriber managed review. I am trained as a facilitator for that, and Robin Jones is trained as a facilitator. We would serve in the same capacity that the Quality Matters staff would serve. Frankly, the difference there is just the finances that are involved. But both of these types, the subscriber managed and the actual official Quality Matters review, which is what Jamie went through, both of them lead to a certification of a course, or can lead to a certification. There's a cost involved, as you heard me say. Not to these internal reviews, there's no cost involved. Official reviews, there's a fee involved in going through that process, primarily because in both of these cases, you have to have outside reviewers, go at 3 specifically, outside reviewers review the course, and they are paid to do that. And that's where the cost comes in. All right, again, where we are, and some of you probably are well aware of all of this, but let me just quickly talk about it. There are 2 of us who are coordinators on campus, myself and Robin Jones. We have done division awareness sessions, but that was back before the shutdown with COVID. And I'm well aware that we have new faculty. I regret that a lot of them are not in this session, but you can help me spread the word. one of the things that I know we did in those awareness sessions, if you remember, Vice President McGinnis and I are the ones that went to the various divisions and did those sessions. At that point, we shared 28 of the 42 standards. Honestly, at that point, we didn't want to overwhelm anybody, and so we chose some of those most essential. Uh, we've moved beyond that with the shutdown and everybody going online, and a greater focus than ever on distance learning. We now are working with all 42 standards. We do have 13 peer reviewers trained within divisions. I think all divisions, with the exception of maybe allied nursing and allied health, have at least one trained peer reviewer. Some have multiple peer reviewers for divisions. If you're not sure about that, ask your division chair, or I can tell you if you need to know who within your division is a peer reviewer. Jamie has indicated and shared that he is one of them. The Academy for Online Instructors, again, as I said, historically it started out back in 2016 with a little different focus based on best practice, but it now incorporates more of the standards. The new Quality Matters Academy, which is launching this semester, and here's my plug for that. The people that are in this session right now with me are the prime candidates for that academy. Okay, I see you, Eric. Um, that starts this semester, and then we do have 3 courses that are certified currently. ACA 122, those of you that teach ACA 122, that course that Andy took through. Dr. Beck, Annie Beck's COM 120 is also certified, and of course Jamie's course, Music 110, is certified. Yay! This is just the start. I see Loy, and I definitely will sign you up. Make sure you have Yvonne turn your name in. I'll make a note of it, but make sure she does. And let me say something about that. Um, the new Quality Matters Academy is entirely focused on developing a course with those standards in mind. It does not require that that course ultimately go through a review, although I personally hope we're leading toward that. That's not the intent. The intent is just to build a better course. And it's designed for someone who may have some knowledge of the standards, but's ready to roll up their sleeves and get to work. So I will make sure we do that. Let me see, just a couple of other things. What time are we doing on time? We're past time, aren't we? I'm going to finish with this. This is my shameless pitch, and y'all can help me get the word out about this. This is what we're doing this semester. All of it for the benefit of faculty and students. Your division chairs have all of this information. Again, I know that many of you have been through the Academy for Online Instructors, but maybe not the Quality Matters Academy. For our newer faculty, Barbara, we're going to plug you here that we need the Blackboard 101. And if you're not aware, we are doing the faculty mentoring program again this semester. That decision was made right before we stopped for the holiday break. So if you're interested in working with a faculty member, or you know of those, just check in with your division chairs. Comments or questions? All right, let me. Lunchtime, exactly, Jamie. Don't forget, Andy would be upset with me if I didn't tell you, make sure you go into the discussion board and do your reflections throughout the day today. Okay, thank you all. Have a good lunch and a good afternoon.